Welcome back to Needle Me This. Today I've got Caitlin in the chair. She's a mom, a nurse, a gym regular, and someone who quietly carries a lot of strength. Got a lot of cool tattoos, a strong presence, and the kind of energy that feels steady even when life isn't. Caitlin, go ahead and introduce yourself before I start doing what I do best.
So, like you said, my name's Caitlin, 32. I have a 2.5-year-old. I have a husband, and I have a house full of pets. More pets. My husband didn't have pets growing up, so now we have all of the pets. I'm a nurse for the state, and I go into nursing homes and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to and people are well taken care of. And before COVID, I did like bikini bodybuilding, and then COVID hit, and then after COVID hit, and mental health, and then a baby, I gained a ton of weight. And then eventually I'm just like, this is not who I am. This is not comfortable. I don't feel good. So that's what got me back into the gym. So that's kind of where I am now. And yeah.
Super cool. I love watching your gym growth throughout your Instagram, and your pets scare the shit out of me. Go ahead and explain what type of pets you have.
So I have the normal. I have 3 dogs and 3 cats. Those are the normal ones. And then I have some reptiles. We have 3 different lizards. I have a tortoise, she's good. And then I have snakes.
Gross. I can't stand steaks.
They're very, for the most part, very sweet. Very sweet. My 2.5-year-old will pet them.
Anytime you post them, I literally, I see it. I'm like, scroll. I get the heebie-jeebies every time.
They're so good. They're so good. My favorite is Cream Cheese. Her name's Cream Cheese.
Did you name her or did your daughter?
I named her. She named the other 2, and she's obsessed with the number 2 and the number 94. So her first snake is 2, and then our second snake is 94.
This is hilarious. What kind of snakes are they?
They're ball pythons. So they're like scaredy cats, little scaredy babies who'll just wrap up into a little ball when you scare them. They're so good.
Getting the heebie-jeebies just talking about it. So how are you feeling walking in today? What are we doing?
We are doing a cool Japanese piece. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. But she's going to have a snake body and the head of a woman. And I did some research about her, and I think it's just a cool story and cool representation of that. It's kind of like a badass, scary, beautiful, creepy, human-eating monster,
Exactly. It's called a Nur-Ona, I believe. It's basically a geisha head with a snake body. It's a yokai, so it's a part of the mythological folklore of Japan, and each one of them have such interesting backgrounds to them, and I've just been diving into like all of them lately on my YouTube. Like I was just put on like a yokai folklore and stuff, and I just learning, and it's crazy some of the stories behind some of these. Like I just drew up can't remember the actual name for it, but it was like a burning man on a wheel, and is like just his head in the center, and then he's on a wheel, and then it's burning, and he just goes through towns just wreaking havoc.
Yeah, that's sick.
What kind of headspace are you in today?
I kind of try to come in relaxed and just open, and I have my smutty books on Audible, so I kind of just listen to those.
I never got into the smut, but I know so many people who listen and read it and stuff, and it's some of the things I hear about it is just crazy.
Oh yeah. No, it's...
What made you want to get tattooed today?
Well, I've been thinking about kind of getting into Japanese tattoos. I have a lot of either black and gray or some neo-trad stuff, but I've always thought there's like a beautiful simplicity, but also so much detail kind of in Japanese tattoos. So I think that's really cool. And I had the time and cash for it.
Right. I agree with the Japanese, how it seems simple and it's like nice and bold. The colors read bright and stuff, and it's all because of the way that's built. And if you're thinking more like large large scale stuff. You have like the wind bars, the waves,
Mm-hmm.
the clouds and stuff that add that nice like neutral background that pushes the color forward so much. And depending on how traditional you go with the design, sometimes it's just a flat color. Sometimes you have like one or two gradient shades and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've always been drawn to it. I was focused on neo-trad for a long, long time, and I still am. I want to do more of like a neo-traditional Japanese kind of vibe. And I'm happy I finally got myself to push into it because the few that I have done this year have just been some of my favorite pieces. Last year, technically, I guess. Oopsie. Happy New Year.
Yeah, I get that.
How does it feel being back in the chair?
Good. I'm excited. I'm usually a big baby, so I know my dad will shit on me about this, but before I had my baby, I could sit like a rock and everything was cool. After her, I'm a little bitch, so
And that's kind of crazy because it's like the opposite of like most of the people I work with. Like those who've had a kid are like, oh yeah, this is easy. It's like nothing compared to childbirth, so I could sit through this.
I had a C-section, so I didn't feel anything.
Here you go.
Meh.
What does taking time for yourself look like lately?
This in the gym mostly. It's kind of the only time I get time to myself doing what I want to do. Sometimes I travel for work, but being in a hotel doesn't always feel like relaxing and for yourself.
Especially if you're there for work.
Yeah, and I still want to see my family, so that doesn't always seem so relaxing. Usually just times like this or the gym and maybe nails, but that's it.
What is your weekly gym routine?
And days that I'm not traveling for work or don't have a huge work day, I go with what I feel like I need in the moment, if that kind of makes sense. Trying to do it more intuitively because I'm not necessarily trying for like a competition right now. I'm just going kind of to lose weight, to kind of get back into the feel, starting to work on maybe in the future getting back to a competition. So sometimes it'll be like glutes and arms or like a whole leg day, or my back and shoulders are my favorite. So yeah, kind of depends. But I don't usually spend more than an hour, hour and a half tops because
I think
I
that's
don't
plenty of
have that
time.
time.
Plenty of time for me. I suck at going to the gym. I feel like a lot of gym enthusiasts, like they have like set schedules, like Monday's leg day, Tuesday's arms. Like,
Yeah.
you don't stick to that at all. You're just listening to your body and just doing what you need to do.
For right now, anyways, kind of doing what I like the best so it keeps up my motivation for wanting to be there.
Right.
It might get more structured if I decide to go a competition route, just so that we work specifically on growing parts that we need.
Are you more nervous or more excited about today?
More excited. More excited.
That's what I like to hear. And last question for this round is, what's been filling your cup recently?
I don't know. I guess probably watching my daughter kind of like learn things, and like she talks better or she'll come up with a new phrase or she'll do something like super sassy and outgoing. And I guess just watching her like become a person lately has been
she's
really
2.5,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
So that's like right into the early stages of education and stuff. So that's got to be a fun time for you.
Yeah, she's really fun. She's super naughty and independent. So
Wonder who she gets that from.
that's fun. But yeah, watching her become like a person, and she really is a sweetheart. So it's been cool.
I've been surrounded by newborns lately because I feel like everybody's having kids right now. And it's really funny to see like the really early stages of child development because I've never really been around like kids throughout
Yeah.
my life. And so like my one friends have a little card that has like a star and a moon on one side. It's just like a big white thing. And they're just
Yeah.
like, star, moon,
Yeah,
star. And it's become like a meme joke for us all.
I love it. That's so funny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to get this going.
Me
I'm
too.
excited to finish this piece for you. And let's get ripping.
Right on.
Welcome back to part 2. We are about halfway through. How we feeling?
Good. Not too bad.
That's what we like to hear.
Not too bad.
So let's talk about more of what you do for a living, being a nurse.
Sure.
I'll start with the general, what you do.
Yeah. So what I do now, I've kind of done a little bit of everything. I can never know. I guess I just don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I've done a little bit of everything. But right now, I am a surveyor for New York State. Like, nursing homes have like a set of regulations that they have to abide by. So I go in, with like a team, and we just make sure that the residents are getting the care that they're supposed to and that the nursing homes are following those regulations. So that's what I do now.
Has there been any like wild things you had to go in on?
Yeah. There's definitely been some interesting things where you're like, what? No. Or like,
Can you think of anyone specifically?
probably a lot of things, but don't know how much I want to disclose specifics, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Little HIPAA.
But there's definitely been things where I'm like, how does this person sleep at night? Like,
Talk about the workers.
yeah, it's just crazy, some stuff. But most people, I will say, they really do work their butt off. Like the aides and nurses, like doing the care, like being the frontline caregivers, they really do work their butts off. And like they're doing the best they can with how many staff there are to how many residents there are and like the resources that they're given. They really do.
I feel like the aides always work 10 times harder than the actual nurses at those kind of homes.
There's definitely like a hierarchy that I never had like in the hospital setting, but it's like everyone has their role. It's like if you remember that everyone's there to take care of these residents and you're there for the residents, but sometimes people forget that.
Right. How do you decompress after a heavy shift?
I'll talk about it with my husband or like, scenarios or vent to him about stuff or things that I've seen that maybe would sit with you more. And I think it's good to sometimes to have somebody to talk to about the things you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But then like for every like awful situation you've seen, there's like a handful of good ones, Yeah,
it creates a good balance in it.
Yeah. And that like the whole idea of going in and being there is to make a difference,
Yeah.
And it's like we're never going to see everything. We're never going to see like, because we're people too.
Right.
So you do the best you can to, do right by them.
What boundaries have you had to learn to protect yourself?
You want to you're working in such like a vulnerable place for a lot of people and you want to connect with people, but you have to take a step back and look at everything. And I might try to say a little story about myself or my nursing to have people open up and be willing to talk to me. But you don't ever want to, I don't know, give too much personal information away to people you don't really, know or see or,
right.
Yeah. And I think what's really important, I was actually having kind of a conversation with one of my coworkers, is it's a job that can get to you, that can weigh heavy on you and you can encounter people that make you lose a little bit of
yourself.
Trust in humanity kind of thing. And I think it's important to let our supervisors know, our leadership know, hey, I'm having a really tough time going out and doing this field work. I need to take a step back or travel a little less, stay closer to home just for peace of mind and your mental health. But I think at least a lot of nurses or a lot of the people I work with, you want to keep pushing through it and you want to keep doing what you have to do for them and get the job done, because if you don't finish the job, then these people who are already in vulnerable population won't get the help that they need. So I think a lot of us, and I think nursing in general, we just try to be stoic and get it done and just do it. And then we'll worry about the aftermath later.
Right.
But it's if you're having a hard time somewhere or you're having a hard time mentally, with some of the things you've seen, and it's I think you need to speak up and not downplay how you're feeling or that kind of stuff. Or if you're having a really difficult time with staff at a facility or you're getting some hostility or some pushback and that kind of stuff, be honest with them. This is what's going on, and get the help that they're there for, that leadership is there to give you.
It's so common to not like leadership. And so people get stuck in that kind of situation and oh, I can keep doing it myself, keep doing it myself.
Well,
It really depends on who the leaders are, if the right people are in the leadership.
Yeah. And like, I've been in management before and I try to be like who I would want.
Right.
And I did. Like, I liked it and I was definitely, you try to be there for your staff and your, the people that you oversee. But even that sometimes like weighs on you because there'd be times where I'm like trying to advocate for people or trying to get them something that they need to do their job well or stuff like that. And there's just, politics to the top and you're kind of stuck in this pattern where like you want to do right by your staff, but your hands are kind of tied by the people above you.
Right.
And I'm sure that's the same in every business. The state is no different. And I think at least like millennials in my generation, I think we're more willing to be like, hey, we're not having a good time.
Right.
This isn't it. And like protecting our, our mental health a little bit better than other generations, I think.
Agreed.
But we're still at that point where some leadership is part of that generation who just kept going. Like they didn't stop when they were having a hard time kind of thing. But if everyone is willing to be honest with them, I think it's better for the team, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I always think it's really on the management, whoever is there, to make that a comfortable situation rather than a stressful.
Yeah.
So I feel like anytime I worked normal people jobs,
yeah,
I always had problems with management because they thought that they had a chip on their shoulder because they're up there and they don't have to work as hard and et cetera, et cetera. And I would always be the one to call it out, and that's why I couldn't keep a normal people job.
I get it. And it's like, I think like in management, there's obviously like some things you just like, you can't say to everybody. Like some things you have to keep between leadership but my whole thing and what I think is important is to be as open and honest with people as possible. And it's like, if there's an issue that I'm actively working on, like even if I have no update, like I'll tell you that these are the times that I did this, I'm working on it. It's not forgotten. Like these are the times I'm going to be meeting with these people kind of thing. Or if there was like a hard stop to whatever I wanted, I would tell them like this, I tried. This is what I said and what I advocated for, and I'm sorry. And I think if more people in management positions were willing to say sorry for failures or mistakes that they did, I think it would build a lot more trust in the team. And, everyone has a role to play, and if they can't trust me to do what I'm supposed to do, then how could they ever do what they need to do?
How many years did you do normal nursing stuff before switching over to the surveyor?
So I've been a surveyor for less than a year. It'll be a year in April. So I kind of did normal-ish more hospital-based nursing, I would say. For many years, I worked in the operating room as a circulating nurse. So that's kind of where like my specialty was, you could say.
The OR?
And surgery was really great. I definitely missed some parts of.
I've always enjoyed watching like Grey's Anatomy and shit because it's like in the operating room and whatnot.
Oh my god!
But I don't know if I could ever actually like be physically in an operating room. Like, that shit's so weird.
Yeah, it definitely takes some getting used to.
What does the gym give you mentally?
I think just to like stop thinking, kind of. Like I don't have to think about it. I just do. I don't know if that makes any sense. But like I kind of go in with what I want to do that day and I just do it. Like it doesn't take a lot of thought to pick things up and put them down,
You'd be surprised.
Like it kind of takes your mind off of things or having to think about others or make decisions or anything. You just do the thing. And there's endorphins from working out and all that stuff. And
you see, I've never really felt those.
That's why I don't run. Running is used when you're being chased. That's what running is for. No. People are always like, oh yeah, after my 5th mile, I just got this running high. I'm like,
As soon as I hear a number outside of 1, I'm like, get out of here.
I'm
I don't want to
I'm
hear
dead
it.
after like a half a mile. So
Right.
I don't get it. No.
Said earlier that shoulders and chest were your favorite to work out?
Shoulders and back.
Back. Why is that?
I feel like they're the two things where like physically they look the best. So, it feels good when you're working something and you can see the difference kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They're just the ones that I feel like after I'm done, I see like, the pump, if you will. And like when I was competing and stuff, I was really proud of like my shoulders and my back and how they came out.
Do you have a pretty big desire to get back into competing, or is it just kind of like if it comes up again, then you'll go?
I think I'd like to. I'm not like, obviously, I know plenty of parents that compete and do that. I just have to figure out how I would put like that amount of dedication into where my life is right now, because it really is like a full-time job when you're competing and prepping and stuff. So as much as I'd like to, I have to kind of figure out where it fits and what's reasonable and what's feasible and time frames, and because I do like competition. I'm very competitive.
Competitions always push you to even like past like where you think you could be. You could get in that moment, and that's what I've always appreciated about them. That's my favorite part about going to conventions and stuff, is getting a chance to get my stuff in front of a judge. And even if you don't win, it's still a good experience. You get pushed out of your comfort zone.
And it's like, I've always liked that bit of competition. Like when I was little, I would do like Irish step dancing competitions. And then when I got older, I did some pageants. And then, I got into that. And I think what's so much different about like bodybuilding apart from pageants is like with beauty pageants, like you really are competing against other people. And I feel like with bodybuilding, like, you're really competing against yourself. And I know that kind of sounds stupid, but like,
I don't think so at all.
Like everyone weighs different. Like body shape is different naturally, or like everyone's different heights. So like it's kind of like bringing the best that you can bring to the table, and it's like every judge is going to be looking for something different on that particular day, and like it's like maybe you don't win that time, but maybe if that judge was looking for something else or wanted more of this, and it's like, well, you just can take the notes that were given to you, and you bring a different package the next time, or different package, different set of judges.
When you say package, is that like what you're doing in front of the judges?
Yeah, like the physique that you bring to them, the posing,
I'm not gonna lie, anytime somebody posts like genuinely post, not a story.
Yeah.
Of them doing like poses and shit, I'm like, get out of here.
No, I know.
I know it's common in the gym world. I think it's because I can't go to the gym and I just get like that. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see it. Get out of here.
No, I totally get it.
What does strength mean to you now?
Good question. I'm never like super strong. And even like before when I was competing, it was more for like the shape of the body that you're going for, and not necessarily like how much I could lift or that kind of stuff. And I think going back to the gym with like a little bit different mindset this time, I definitely feel a different way, like when I can lift something that's heavier, or I'm able to do something that maybe I couldn't do before, or do something with a weight that I've never used before. So I think like physically, I appreciate more of my strength that I've gotten over this time. And I think mentally, just getting older, getting out of your 20s, and like, I guess you have to become an adult.
Says who?
Right, I know. I was just saying, I'm like, I still don't feel like an adult sometimes, but
Well, I feel that.
But I think I'm more confident in who I am and what I do. I might not necessarily like know what I want to do, but I'm more confident in me, I guess.
That's all that matters, honestly.
And it's like, there's stuff about myself that I, don't particularly love or wish I could change or things like that. Like understanding that this is what it is. Like, I can't change the stretch marks from my baby. I might not like how they look, but there's no
They're a
point
part of
in.
you.
Yeah, they're a part of me. They're a part of what happened. They're a part of like what it is. And it's like I might not at moments love how they look or feel confident about how they look, but overall just accepting that this is me and not to be ashamed of it. So, and the thought of tattooing my stomach at this point terrifies me.
Yeah, stomach is not.
No.
It's not an easy place. We'll get there one day, though.
We'll see.
I've been talking to Justin Hartman over in California, and I'd really like to give him my chest and stomach.
More power to you.
And I know the earlier I do it on in my life, the easier it's going to be. But then I told him I was like on like a weight loss journey, and like I still need one more surgery and stuff. So it's like it's a little bit later down the line still, and it just makes me upset because I want his work on me so bad.
No, I get it.
Give her a good cleaning, and then we really only got the yellow and golds left. Oh wait, just kidding. I got to do all the reds, you know, those little things.
You kill me.
You
You just raised me up and then
well, you're right back down. How is becoming a mom reshaped how you see yourself?
kind of like, well, physically, like the physical changes, that's taken a little bit of getting used to. I think getting healthy and losing like the unhealthy weight and like just getting more like into fitness and like bringing me back kind of thing. I think that's helped kind of with that. And I mean, I definitely learned to appreciate each part of the physical journey where like back to where I am now. But it was definitely hard going from like a bikini competitor at like 117 pounds to, you know, having a newborn and being, you know, 220 pounds.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm 5'2". So it, I just looked different and I felt different. And I think that was hard, especially with like a baby and hormones and emotions and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it probably took me like a good year to be like, no, I'm not comfortable like this. I don't feel like my best. I don't feel healthy. And that was just coming from that aspect, never from like oh my God, I'm disgusting and fat or that kind of thing. I'm having a hard time. Like, let's just get healthy. Let's get to like a healthy place. I think after you have a baby, it kind of like changes how like the process of how you think about things. It's like I still think it's super important for like me to make like you can be selfish sometimes. Like if you need to get away or do something for yourself, I think it's totally okay to be like, I'm gonna be selfish and I'm gonna do this and it's gonna have nothing to do with my daughter or my husband and it's just gonna be for me.
Right.
Or it's just gonna be for the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Exactly.
We can make it if we try.
And it's like, I think has a harder time, like, making decisions that will involve her, or like, oh yeah. I'm like, and then what are we going to do with our daughter? And he'll be like, oh, that's right.
Forgot about her.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it. We've lived, you know, April will be married for 10 years. So it's like, you're together for a decade, just the two of you, like, it's not easy to just be like, oh, well, here's another person
Right.
plopped into your single existence. I'm just trying to like make experiences for her.
Best thing you can do, I feel like when I look back in my childhood, it definitely was like the Christmas morning, like that kind of stuff that you want to make sure it's a little extra special and stuff, and that way she knows what to remember on for her childhood.
You know, just like always hoping that they're not like a sociopath. Like I watch a lot of shows, you know? You never know.
You really don't. I feel like it's always the people you least expect.
Exactly. But, you know, she's really good with animals, and I feel like that's a good sign.
Oh, yeah, the killing the animal is always the first step.
Exactly. So she's so good with animals.
It's the only reason I know I'm not a psychopath. Like, I would never hurt the animals.
She's such a sweetie. She's sassy, but she's super sweet.
You need to have sass in this world.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she gives the meanest side eye, and it's hilarious. So funny. But I think that's the best part about having a baby when you're 30, is you kind of know more about yourself, who you are as a person, before you have to like raise a person.
Right? There's so many people nowadays just like jumping right into having a kid and shit. And it's like from experience, like growing up with a young mother, like I feel like it's better to take those first few years just like learning how to be yourself and like who you are and stuff. Because when you have a kid so early on, you're still learning by yourself. It's like you almost can't be yourself because you don't even know who you are.
Yeah. Like I could not imagine. Like my mom had all 4 of us before she turned 30. And I can't imagine how hard that was.
My mom had my brother at 17 and me at 21.
And it's like obviously you could say there's advantages for both. Like having a baby when you're younger or having one when you're older. I think I think back to like who I was and when I was 20. And it's just wouldn't have been good.
It's like more often than not, you're not making that like the best of money that early on. So it's like all your money is going to be going towards a kid, and then you stress about bills. Yeah. Like all of it just starts stacking up. And it's just like build your life first.
Yeah.
And that's one of my biggest issues with new parents today. Like I don't plan on having kids.
Yeah.
But like if I were to, I wouldn't be fathoming it until at least another couple years.
Like the only thing that sucks is like it's harder to get up off the floor. And now she like will make fun of you when you do it.
There's
because
that
she'll go, oh. I'm like, oh, did you just make fun of me? And then she'll giggle.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. All right.
All right, we just got that yellow left, yellow and gold.
Cool.
I'm going to finish up and then we'll see you guys back in part 3. Welcome back to part 3. We are all done with the tattoo. How are we feeling?
Good. I feel good.
How does it feel seeing it finish after designing it overnight?
It's dope. I love it.
Did it turn out as you expected it to?
Yeah. Yeah. She was awesome.
Hell yeah. How does this experience differ from your last tattoo with me?
Well, it didn't take 3 sessions, so that's a good one. Yeah, I think the legs hurt 100% more than your arms.
I agree with that 100%.
And I'm gonna stick with that.
Anybody who wants to fight me on that, I'll fight.
Yeah.
What do you hope this tattoo reminds you of?
Kind of like what we talked about in like the first part, like the story behind her and like her as a demon, I think was kind of resonating when we were trying to pick like a design to do today. And I think there's something like kind of like scary and like almost like grotesque in like a really beautiful way with her. And I think that's really cool.
I agree with that. I feel like most of the yokai that I've found so far, they have that like, it's almost like the life and death comparison within it. And that's what speaks so true to me, I think. And so it was definitely a good time bringing it together. Thank you for letting me do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Love her.
How do you think you'll feel about this piece years from now?
I think I'll still love her. Even though she was, like a last minute decision. I think like I still put pretty good thought into what we were going to do and kind of how I would resonate with it. And I think every tattoo I have, it's like, sure, I could have gotten something else or something different, but it kind of speaks to like where I am in my life at that point,
Yeah.
And eventually we'll only have my stomach left. So when we get there,
we'll decide one day.
We'll decide what happens. But yeah, that's kind of how I see them.
Did anything surprise you about the process today?
So most of my tattoos are black and white. So one of the few color tattoos that I've finished in one session. So that's nice.
Yeah, you can be proud of that one.
Yes. The other one is on my calf, and I don't remember anymore, but that's kind of what's funny about the tattoos. It's like, I hate getting tattooed. I really do. Like, I'll be the first. That sucks. But it's like, after everything's done, and it's like, well, you don't remember that it hurt at the time or how it felt or, what it feels like over bone. But like,
I don't know. I don't think I'll ever forget the over the shin.
Oh yeah.
That was fucking horrible.
I'm not looking forward to that either. That's why they're still there.
Right.
But it's like in a couple weeks, like when there's no more pain and it's not itchy, it's like you forget about it. And then you're like, all right, maybe I'll think about another.
I love the hesitation behind it.
Because then you're going to get there and you're going to be like, son of a bitch, this is a terrible idea. Why do I keep doing this? And then it's like, oh, in a couple weeks when everything's healed and it doesn't hurt anymore, you're like,
I'm happy again.
God, that's so cool. So badass.
It's definitely a big love-hate relationship.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I'll be the first to admit I'm a big bitch. So
Was there a moment during the session that stood out today?
I think like being able to talk through some of that tattoo was kind of new to me. I'm usually silent and stuff, and it was surprising how fast like that part of the color went by actually. And I think it's probably because you're thinking of what to say and how and trying to make sense of it, and you kind of forget about what's going on. So that was interesting.
That was one of the reasonings I decided to do like the pre, mid, and post was to like, I feel like having something that gets you out of the mind space of just thinking this hurts, this hurts, this hurts.
Yeah.
It really gets you, it like tricks the mind almost.
Yeah. It's like it takes you to a different part of your brain. It's like, now I have to think. Now I have to think of what to say. And it like takes your brain away from like, it tricks the pain response, I think. I don't know. It sounds right.
All right. As long as it sounds right.
And like, it makes sense to me in my head.
What's a strength that people don't always see in you?
Oh, that's a good one. I think it might be that I'm more resilient than I come off as. I like to pretend that I'm not like a crier, but I am. Like I cry all the time. And when I get like super just frustrated and angry and I'm at like the limit, I cry. But it's like once it's out, like then I can think and move on and move past it and that kind of stuff. But I think in the moment when somebody's watching me like cry or having a hard time like coming up with something to say or what to do next, it probably looks like weak and that kind of thing. But it's almost like a visceral reaction to stuff.
Right.
And it's like it feels like it's raising in your face and it just gets to your eyes and it like has to come out. But then it's like then you move on and you move past it and you come up with your next plan and like you make the decision. So
there's nothing wrong with a little cry. Everybody can lie all they want. Everybody cries.
I pretend that I'm like not a crier and I'm just this tough, but I totally cry. I cry when other people cry.
Sympathy
I cried at
crier.
Toy Story I was telling you about. Like I cry, but I'm resilient to things, I think.
Right. I would agree with that for myself. And it definitely takes a lot to get me to cry. But lately, some of the things I've been watching have been making my eyes water up a little bit. And I'm like, what is going on? Like,
and I'm such like in the future, like this is going to happen and it's so final and everything's final. And it like, yeah, I definitely get in my head about that.
You're not alone, I promise. When do you feel the most like yourself?
Probably when I'm like actively participating in competitions. And that might sound silly, but it's like I like being up on stage and like putting effort into something that I'm passionate about in the moment and competing and like trying to bring something, like whether it's like pageants and dressing up in a gown and walking on stage or answering a question or doing your talent or anything like that, like doing that and being part of it and kind of putting myself out there, I find really exciting. And then in the bodybuilding world, it's like you do all of this work to get up to one day and you get your ridiculous number layers of spray tan on and you get your makeup done and your hair's all done and you just look, fab in a bikini. And then you go out and you compete and you're just like, you put everything out there. I like being up on stage and looking all glamorous and competing and stuff.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like most people are scared of it. So to use it as a strength, I think that's a power move.
Yeah.
Because I would agree that I do like being the center of attention sometimes.
But I'm like also an introvert. Like I don't want to go to a party and talk to everybody in the room because I will get uncomfortable.
There's levels to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's kind of funny.
Yeah. What part of yourself are you most protective of now?
Probably my home life and just, not everything has to be out there in the world. I mean, obviously I post on social media and like put parts of me out there and that kind of stuff. But I think in the end, like what happens in my home or, the life that we've made kind of stays private. And there's something nice about keeping, things just family and just keeping, don't go out and slam my husband for not, I don't know, taking something out of the freezer. It's like, it's nobody else's problem, and nobody, quite frankly, wants to hear about problems. But even like good
That
stuff,
part.
just like not everybody needs to know every single good thing that we've done. I'm usually really terrible at taking pictures because you just live the experience instead of taking pictures of the experience the whole time.
Right.
So kind of moving to that, it's like sometimes every once in a while, if I'm feeling myself, maybe I'll post something on social media. But like most of the time, it's like, well, we're just going to either have a good day or bad day, and we're just going to do it.
Yeah, I like that you said that nobody cares about it, because that's one of my biggest pet peeves is when people go on social media and just like rant and rant and rant. It's just like, stop wasting space on my feed and keep it to yourself. We all got problems.
And
Nobody cares.
And it's like, I get it. Sometimes people need someone to vent to, and maybe they don't have anybody to vent to, and that's how they do it. But it sucks.
That's what anonymous chats are for, like Omegle.
Oh my God.
Get on there and start ranting to somebody will listen at some point.
I'm sure, but yeah.
What do you want your kids to learn from how you treat yourself?
She's going to be the one and only. So I want her to learn that, like, you can always keep working on yourself and, like, trying to make yourself better, whether it's like you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to get strong or get fit or whatever physically. But it's like, to still be confident in the places you are along that way. It's like, I struggled and it wasn't easy, but it's like I still learned to feel like I deserved love and feeling a certain way when I was 220 pounds at my heaviest, And that's not easy to do, and it wasn't every day, but it's like kind of that feeling. And it's like, well, now I'm a little less, and my stretch marks are stretching. They're noticeable, but it's like, all right, I'm just going to take it as it is. And it's not always easy to do, but that nothing is wrong with you to want to keep working on it, but still enjoy and be confident and love who you are in the stages of that discovery, I guess, or in that journey.
So talking about journeys, let's switch over to a little tattoo talk. What's something that you would tell somebody considering a meaningful tattoo?
I would say to have a meaningful tattoo, like, it doesn't have to necessarily be like, well, I got this because it's, I don't know, my husband's favorite color and it's his, I don't know, like his dog's collar. Like, it doesn't have to be so literal in order to be something that could be like important to aspects of your life, if that kind of makes sense. Like the tattoo I got today, like we came up with it at like 8:00 at night, right? But it doesn't mean that it's less meaningful than maybe one that we might have been working on like before, when it was like my cat and her story and the life and like that kind of thing. It's like I can still look at her and be like, well, this is part of who I was and what I was doing at that point in my life in the new year, and like remind myself maybe when I'm looking at different parts of my body that I don't necessarily love, and be like, well, I have this cool ass tattoo. So there's like a badass part of it, kind of like, it sounds cheesy and corny to say, but it's like, when you got like a tank top on and you like have them all out and you like feel a certain way.
It's one of the things I hate about winter is not being able to show off everything.
Like, I'm a lot cooler than I look. It's just that, everything's all covered up. And I have diabetes and I have like an autoimmune skin disorder. So it's not something that's going to go away, and it's probably going to progressively get worse. And I don't like the way it looks. So quite frankly, I would rather cover my skin and like the art of other people than have these ugly spots that are from a disease that sucks.
Right.
Kind of.
And I think that's one of the biggest part about tattooing that I love the most, is being able to transform people's opinions about themselves through the art. And most people get stuck at the pain. And if you can just get past the pain part and look forward into the confidence building part and building on your story and stuff, the way that you look at your tattoos, it's such an amazing thing to experience.
Even if it takes 3 sessions.
Right. It doesn't matter. Like we'll get it done either way. Splitting something up in between sessions is it's not like I'm against it by any means and stuff. It's harder to keep that commitment because then you just keep thinking about the pain, you're thinking about the pain, you're thinking about the pain. You got to heal it multiple times. So that's why I try to push people to get a project done in the one sitting. But you were committed to it. It always came back well healed, and you stayed consistent with the booking. So, like in that kind of retrospect, there's no problem with
That's
it.
because I also refuse to look silly. Like I realize I was a little bitch, but I also don't want to look stupid with a not finished tattoo. Like there's a little bit of pride. I just not with pain.
What do tattoos give you that words don't?
I think they give me maybe like that little bit of badass kind of. Like I had tattoos before my daughter, but I think now how they kind of make me feel is like for a while, and I don't know if I would assume maybe other people feel this way, but for me, it was like you kind of like lost your sexy or like your womanhood or womanness, that kind of thing, and you don't feel like, I don't know, you like to be sexy, you like to feel a certain way sometime. And I think my tattoos helped me kind of get that back and get that like feeling that you're not just this like little person's slave, that you're like your own person still, and you can still be like sexy and hot and like be covered in tattoos and piercings and still,
100%.
still feel kind of a certain way. So I think that kind of helps. That helped me, or maybe that's what it says about me, or gives me that confidence to act that way.
You do what you gotta do to
That's
feel
what I'm
good.
saying.
I feel like there's a group of people out there that think that like full body coverage or like a lot of tattoos in general just takes away that aspect of being like sexy or feeling good about yourself and stuff like that. And it's like they don't see it through the same lens as we do. Like,
oh yeah.
And I'm fine with keeping them out. Like, you stay boring over there, we'll be cool over here.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't know. I just, like I said, I'd rather be covered in something beautiful and like the art of other people than my spots that make me a disease instead of a canvas.
I like that. I like how you worded that. So one last question. If you could leave one sentence behind like a tattoo somebody carries with them, what would it be? That
you're more than labels that people or society give you. I'm more than diabetes or a diabetic or a mother or a wife, that you can be multiple things and you can kind of carve your own path that way, and you don't have to live or fit in the box of what people want to label you as. I love that. Last week we were kind of chatting about like having like a timeline on life and being stuck on what other people are doing and whatnot. And I think that this ties really nicely into that, about getting out of the labels and just really trying to find yourself and being unapologetically authentic to yourself. And that's when you really start to bloom. And I've found that out recently, just within the past couple of years. I've been really diving into who I am, why I act the way I do, and stuff like that. So I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you for joining me today, Caitlin. Thank you for having me. And thank you for letting me do a sick ass tattoo on your arm. Thank you for doing it. Of course. And as always, fresh ink, fresh clarity, mild trauma. We'll see you next episode.